Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Now, we're closer and closer to the NFL season. All-Star break in baseball is already come and gone. You're a little fed up with not doing as well as you were in the beginning of baseball. You're saying, yo, I just can't wait for NFL to start. But I'm not going to play much during the preseason. I'm just going to, curb my enthusiasm, wait for week one. The salaries have already dropped on FanDuel and DraftKings, so I can salivate over them for the next 4 weeks as I watch preseason football and get a good grasp on who is going to be the low-owned, low-dollar cat that I can start week one and make me $1 million in the Millionaire Maker. That's what you're thinking, right? It's because you're a degenerate gambler. You're lying to yourself. You're gonna play. You're gonna play preseason, just like I'm gonna play preseason. You love NFL. You love football. Let's get it in. What I'm here today to do is to take you through not only your roster construction process as it applies to the preseason, but I'm going to take you through a few plays and also give you a way to kind of look at guys that you might want to be targeting in terms of preseason play. We got 4 weeks to go. Let's get it in. Now, the last video we talked about was where we chopped up places where we could go for information. And the one place that we talked about most was Twitter. If you follow me on YouTube, you should be following me on Twitter. If you play NBA, NFL, MLB, MMA, whatever DFS you play, if you play it seriously enough, you should have a Twitter account. That's the best way to get up-to-the-minute news and notes, information that's going to be very, very valuable to you. But another place that I like to go is certain articles, man. You look at articles, football it doesn't happen as fast as MLB and NBA happens. It doesn't happen as quickly. So articles are a really good thing to read and to also keep you up and in tune with what's going on. Now, one of the biggest things, or the biggest thing you want to know about NFL is touches equal money, bro. It's all about touches. It's all about touches. It's all about carries. It's all about reps. It's all about minutes. It's all about a guy being out there on the field. I would much rather have a shitty running back, not shitty, but just a running back that's not awesome, that's I know is going to get 25 carries or 20 to 25 carries than a really great running back that's going to split carries and get 10 to 15. It's all about touches, all about the touches. So a place that we can go, of course, is our news and articles and things of that nature. But what I want you to kind of look at in terms of the preseason is you want to see who's going to be out there the longest. If you remember going back to the first preseason game where we got to see a lot of Blaine Gabbert. He started the game, played a lot of the game. That was good. We saw a lot of Rico Gathers was out there for a lot of reps. What you have in common with these types of players is not only are they're young rookie players, younger players, but players that are changing teams because it's going to take time for players to adjust to being on their new team, whether it's because they came there via free agency, a trade, or just plain old drafted from college football. So you want to have a look at those guys, just as the team wants to have a look at those guys. So I'm going to take you through just a few guys that you can look to that are going to be very, very valuable, in my opinion, in the preseason to help you build really strong rosters. Let's get to it. Now, for week one of the preseason, you're going to get really soft betting lines. As you can see, from Houston, Carolina, all the way down to Denver, Chicago, the lines are basically, -1, -3.5 is the biggest one you've got with New England, giving up 3.5 points to Jacksonville. You see, you got an even line here with Denver, Chicago. Most of the actual totals are going to be, somewhere along the 30s, 40 at best. 36, 36, 40.5 is going to be the total here. And I don't want you to really worry about these too much until we actually get deeper into the season. But that's going to be your bread and butter. Like, you're going to have to really, examine those Vegas lines and really get in touch with when you're being fed a good line or a bad line, because a lot of this is going to be player stacking, and a lot of this is stacking offenses. Like, there's a few where you just stream offenses against. There's a few defenses you can just stream offenses against, and there's a few offenses that you can stream defenses against. And we're going to talk about that stuff too as the season goes on. Of course, we're going to get a lot more in depth when you come into the defense sweatshop on Facebook. But very, very, very important thing here is to check out some of those betting lines, okay? And it's going to be more important as the season starts. They're going to get much harder. These are very soft lines. I don't really think you have to pay these too much attention right now, but it's going to get very more important. It's going to be a lot more important later on. So let's go ahead and talk about a few guys. We're going to start with the Houston and the Carolina game, okay? Let's go ahead and start. First game we got on the slate is going down tonight, Wednesday night. It is the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. Couple of new additions to both teams, guys that we should be on the lookout for, and there's some cats that always play well in the preseason because like Cam Newton, a guy like that, they're not going to have him running out there playing a ton of downs. They've even got Derek Carr, their backup quarterback, set up. So every year there's one guy go out there and he chucks it around, does his thing. He looks pretty good, but he never plays or rarely plays during the regular season. And I'm going to tell you about that guy. Also, we've got a very young running back from the Carolina Panthers, a guy, Christian McCaffrey, was brought in to be a pass-catching option in terms of coming out of the backfield. Luke Kuechly said that there's no way nobody's going to be able to stay with that dude one-on-one. And this all sounds good, but they're going to want to see him in live game action. So that right there is a stack that you can look at right then. Quarterback, running back stack. You look at Joe Webb, you got McCaffrey. Take a look at this one. And what I've done, you go to NFL.com. You can take a look at this stuff, man. This got last year's statistics in terms of yardage for quarterbacks. You look at Joe Webb. He was third last year in the preseason in yardage, 472 yards there. Love him in that spot. I think he's can be a very decent play. I'm gonna have some of Joe Webb. You're not gonna see Cam Newton. And see, the funny part about this, man, is you look at some lineups from when it first started the other day, and you had people that had lineups with David Johnson in it. You had Larry Fitzgerald in lineups. You had Carson Palmer in lineups. Why the heck would you? They're not playing these people. That's what a lot of people they miss on that. And they play starters, guys that are going to be starting. You can't really play those guys with confidence until at the very least, the third game. At the very least, the third game. So Joe Webb is a guy who I definitely think is going to see a lot of run in a preseason game, a guy that you can definitely get behind and use. He had a very decent preseason last time. I see no issue why he would not have another good one this time as well. Then there's this kid, Christian McCaffrey. Now, there's been reports of him at Panthers camp tearing it the fuck up. I'm talking, they've been saying things like he's unstoppable, coming out of the backfield. He's reminiscent of, the Danian Tomlinson and his running style. Like, they've been saying a lot of great things about Christian McCaffrey's, and it's going to be on display. So you definitely want to take a look at him going forward tomorrow in your DraftKings and or FanDuel lineups for the preseason. Now, on the other side of the ball, the Houston Texans are probably going to be rolling out Tom Savage as a starter, but I don't see him playing a ton of snaps. I see Deshaun Watson playing a lot, and that could be good. Deshaun Watson could be nice because people that played a lot of preseason last year, they're gonna automatically, hang their hat on Joe Webb and kind of not want to play Deshaun Watson because he's not the actual starter. But Tom Savage, it's kind of like it says, it's his job to lose, man. This could definitely be a situation where we could see Deshaun Watson come in and play some very solid minutes and get some really good reps in at the quarterback spot for the Houston Texans. So look out for Deshaun Watson. Play Tom Savage sparingly. I think Deshaun Watson's going to get the bulk of the time at QB. That's kind of how I would play it. Now, as far as running back goes, it was a quote from Bill O'Brien that talked about, playing everybody that's healthy and available to play. So, for me, if you're going to play a running back in this game, I would play a couple of them. You're not going to see a ton of Lamar Miller. You're probably going to see guys like Akeem Hunt. You're going to see a couple of other backups that they have. So I would more than likely play, a couple of those guys instead of, just well, and I like McCaffrey more, actually. I like McCaffrey more. I like McCaffrey. I'm going to be playing him. I wouldn't even really fuck with I would mess with the Houston running backs in the spot. Tom Savage, give me him. Maybe some Braxton Miller. I mean, not Tom Savage, but you look at Braxton Miller. I definitely like Deshaun Watson. We know that Will Fuller is out indefinitely with that shoulder injury. So you're going to be looking toward some of the other guys in that the wide receiver rotation. So not big, not very big on the Houston Texans as a whole, but the guys that I like the most, Deshaun Watson definitely, and you can give me some Braxton Miller in the spot as well. So wrapping up this first game, man, you look at Joe Webb, McCaffrey, maybe the tight end from the Panthers, the young rookie guy, the younger guys, Chris Manners is a guy you might want to look at. On the other side, you look at running backs for Houston. I'm talking Tyler Ervin. I'm talking Akeem Hunt. You might want to take a look at Jalen Strong. He could be seeing some reps with the fact that we know we're not going to be seeing Fuller. Then, of course, Braxton Miller is a guy that you're going to be liking from the Houston Texans, and of course, it's still baseball season, bro. And of course, no Tom Savage, but you can give me some of that Braxton Miller. Next game we got is the Atlanta Falcons and the Miami Dolphins. Now, looking at the Atlanta side, the first thing you got to know is Julio Jones as well as Taylor Gabriel are going to be held out of this game. You're not going to see either one of those cats in there. You might see for one series. You might be able to take a look at Matt Ryan for one series, and you're going to see some Matt Schaub. I wouldn't really love the quarterbacks in this spot. Matt Schaub is one of the worst quarterbacks to ever live. But it's the preseason, so the guy could play well, but not a quarterback that I'm going to be targeting. I'm more looking to some of the younger guys, man. You take a look at what the Falcons do, man, and the fact that you're not going to have, Gabriel, you're not going to have Julio Jones. You have a very limited role for Mohamed Sanu in the preseason. You're talking about cats like Andre Roberts, Nick Williams, guys that want to make even Dable Anthony, guys like that. Those guys are going to want to make the roster, and they're going to have every opportunity to make their presence felt. So this can be a really, really decent spot for a few of those guys. You're not going to see much Devontae Freeman, not either Tevin Coleman either. But you look at Brian Hill as a guy, one of the rookies, man, that's really looking at making the roster, a guy that you can definitely look to if you wanted to, get exposure to somebody who's not going to be very highly owned. Looking on the other side, we're talking about the Dolphins here. It's going to be tough for the Dolphins, man. As we know, Jarvis Landry has some legal issues. We're going to make sure if he's even going to be available to suit up with the team. And we know about the debacle that's taken place recently with the Jay Cutler signing for the Dolphins, and he just arrived with the team yesterday. So he's not even listed on the roster yet. It's still Matt Moore is still the quarterback. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting or if he's probably not. He's not in great shape. He said he wasn't on ESPN earlier yesterday. We know, the homie Kenny Stills, he did some individual stuff, did not really work out with the team a lot. We don't have Jay Ajayi there at this moment. Devontae Parker has been showing out and kind of impressing throughout the Dolphins minicamp and the Dolphins training camp. So I think he can be in line for some solid work. But who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback going to be? So it's going to be a really tough one to gauge in terms of how we can look at the Dolphins going forward. But let's go ahead and hammer out just a couple of plays from the Dolphins that we can look out, guys. Are going to be Leonte Carew, Kenyon Drake at the running back position. Carew, a really, really solid receiver. He's going to be a guy that's going to be able to stand out in the preseason. As we know, Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker are going to be the starters and probably not going to play a ton of minutes. You got Isaiah Ford, another young player, one of the rookies that they brought on, going to be a guy that you may be able to use, but just not so promising. Jay Cutler is now listed. He's now listed on the depth chart. We've got Jay Cutler, Matt Moore, Brandon Doherty, David Fales. Tannehill, of course, has been injured. So I would stay away from them in terms of quarterback. And I don't really love them for the younger guys. The only guy that I may take a shot on is going to be one of the running backs, maybe Damian Williams or Kenyon Drake. Outside of that, don't really love this team at all. Yo, Rodney Adams, a wide receiver from the University of Southern Florida, man. Dude, he was drafted by the Vikings in the 5th round, 127th pick. And he's one of the rookies that's looking for more time. I kind of like this kid, man. I really do. He has his own YouTube channel, and he chronicles everything he does. So go check it out. His name is Rodney Adams. He's pretty decent, pretty good. Cut quick, really good route runner. I think he can make some noise in the preseason, kind of a sleeper play. I kind of like him because we know that Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen got the number 1 and 2 spots locked down. They've also got Sam Bradford, who probably won't play much in the preseason because he is a guy that folds like a lawn chair, could get very hurt very easily. We know Dalvin Cook has won the starting job. That could affect his preseason play because I'm sure they don't want to run him out there for a ton of preseason reps and he gets hurt. They got Latavius Murray, who's been recovering from an ankle injury at the moment. So this can be a really, really, really good way to grab some points, man. I like that Adams kid. I think he's going to come on. I like him. He's a guy that I do like. Now, when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, this is a very interesting situation because usually you look at teams in the preseason, the first game of the preseason, to probably run their starters out for one series. Well, Sean McDermott says the Buffalo Bills starters are going to play one quarter, and that could be huge. If you can get Tyrod Taylor, Sammy Watkins out there for one quarter, I really doubt you're going to see Shady out there for an entire quarter. But yo, this is what it says, man. It says that, and then it talks about how Tyrod Taylor is very excited about being back out there and reuniting with Bolden, with Anquan Bolden. So this can be a nice one. If you're gonna play starters anywhere, I think this will be the spot. Sean McDermott says he's gonna be running out of starters for a quarter. You could do a lot of damage, bro, in a quarter with starters. You really could. So take a look at some of those Buffalo Bills guys, as I will as well. In terms of the Washington Redskins, that's gonna be the next game we're gonna be talking about. Redskins and the Baltimore Ravens, man. Don't think we're going to see a ton of the starters here. They were bitten by the injury bug, man. A couple of guys got hurt during the preseason. I know Josh Doxson was one of them. We're not going to see Jordan Reed, of course. They want to keep him as healthy as possible. Probably not going to see a ton of Kirk Cousins. More like some Nate Sudfeld is going to be playing a lot of quarterback there at first preseason game. We look at Rob Kelly, who's probably going to get a ton of runs. Chris Thompson, maybe a guy that you can look to, and maybe some Matt Jones. Really, really decent play. It's going to be Mac Jones, I think, probably. Also, you're not going to see Terrell Pryor a lot. Robert Davis, the rookie, is a guy that's probably going to get some run here. And also, maybe Brian Quick is a guy that you might be able to look at. But just don't love a lot in terms of the Redskins and their offense here in the preseason. They've been pretty hobbled, man, coming into the preseason. I just don't see them running out guys and keeping starters out there for any length of time. Yeah, again, looking at the Baltimore Ravens, that quarterback position, you got, of course, Ryan Mallett. You're going to see him get the most of the snaps, of course, in that first preseason game. That makes perfect sense. We look at, as far as running back goes, they've got Danny Woodhead here, a guy that I don't see getting a ton of carries, but I do think we can see an extended workload for guys like Bobby Rainey. Also, Terrence West at 5.5. Everybody's at 5.5. That's a guy that you might want to use there. At wide receiver, we just talked about a couple of these guys. We talked about Jeremy Mack and Mike Wallace. Both of those guys are guys that they're not going to want to have out there for any extended period of time. You look at Mike Campanero, a guy that you may be able to use in this spot. Terrell Pryor, man. Wish we could see a lot of Terrell Pryor, but I don't think we're going to see a ton of Terrell Pryor in this spot. So, next game we got is the New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've got, the Patriots and the Jags, man. You know you're not going to see a ton of run from the usual suspects in terms of the New England Patriots. I'm talking cats like Garoppolo is not a guy you're going to be seeing. You're not going to see Garoppolo a lot. You're going to see more Jacoby Brissett than you're going to see Garoppolo or Tom Brady. On the other side, you may see some Blake Bortles, just not a ton. There's going to be a lot more Chad Henne and Brandon Allen. So I wouldn't even think about playing Blake Bortles in this spot. At the running back spot, this is where it gets kind of crazy because I think Leonard Fournette is a guy that you're going to have to get some exposure to, bro. Coming in, one of the top draft picks. They got Chris Ivory, who he's trying to take a job from. Also, the TJ Yeldon, who they picked a couple of drafts ago. This is a guy that he's going to want to outperform. So Leonard Fournette also is going to be a really solid play, a guy that I'm going to have some exposure to as far as it's always hard to play the Patriots running backs. Always hard to play the Patriots running back. But if you want to get one, James Devlin is a guy that you can look at. And then there was also one guy who they had, that Rex Burkhead kid. Rex Burkhead is another guy that does make noise in the preseason, a guy that I think you might want to take a look at. Mike Gillislee is going to be a guy that I think is going to be playing a little bit more during the regular season, so a guy that I would kind of stay away from. But yes, man, Rex Burkhead is the guy that I would be looking at, and also, yeah, Fournette, Burkhead. Those would be the two running backs I'm looking for this game. Nothing more, nothing less. As far as tight ends, we haven't talked a lot of tight end yet. Um, and that's because the tight end I like is going to come from this game. That's what they do, bro. That's what the Patriots do. They build very, very solid tight ends. And Jacob Hollister is a guy that I think we're gonna be able to use at the tight end spot. Maybe even some Dwayne Allen if he does play, but he probably is not gonna play much. Gronk is not gonna be out there a lot at all. So this could be a nice one. This could be a nice one. I kind of like Dwayne Allen being there. I kind of do. Uh, let's talk about some of the wide receivers here. Matthew Slater, pretty decent wide receiver prospect that they can use. You're probably not going to see a lot of Amendola, not a lot of Edelman. You're not going to see a lot of Chris Hogan. You're not going to see a lot of Chris Hogan. Malcolm Mitchell, I think, is the play. Malcolm Mitchell, maybe some Brandon Cooks in terms of getting him acclimated to the offense. Maybe wanting to see how he looks in game, getting it in. That might be a good spot. Don't really love much from the other side of the ball. Don't love too much from the Jacksonville side. It'd be Fournette for me, and I would just keep it moving. Next game we got is going to be the Eagles and the Packers. Uh, we're not going to see cats like Aaron Rodgers in the spot, man. You cannot. You don't understand how much of a pet peeve that is when I see DraftKings lineups during the preseason with like bona fide starters in them. You're not going to see Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to see a lot of Carson Wentz, but you may see some. You're not going to see a lot of them here. I think Joe Callahan is a guy that you might see. Maybe some Matt McGloin on the other side. You're not going to see these cats, man. You're just not. Brett Hundley, maybe you might see some of him at the running back spot. You've got Darren Sproles in Philly. You're not going to be seeing that. LeGarrette Blount in Philadelphia, you're not going to see him a ton. But you might get some. You might get some. Where's the homie at? Small. Some Kendall Small, but he's questionable. Damn, I was looking at Small, and I kind of wanted to play him if he was 100%. He's pretty good. But Ty Montgomery is a guy that you're going to see. You're going to probably get some of him. So not a lot of running back options here for this game, but at wide receiver. Not much Jordy Nelson. I think Torrey Smith is a guy that's going to have some reps out there. Maybe some Alshon Jeffrey, maybe. You've also got Devontae Adams at 5.5, a guy that I'm definitely going to be interested in. Certainly. I'm going to be interested in Devontae Adams. Nelson Aguilar, I think he has been hurt. He's not going to be playing. I don't think he's going to be playing. So a few guys that I like. And then you can always look to tight ends whenever you have this offense like this. You look at Martellus Bennett and his new offense in Green Bay. I think they're going to want to get him acclimated some. That's a guy that you might be able to take a look at. So, it's going to be pretty solid. Next game we got is going to be the Cleveland Browns and the Saints. These are the two most pimped teams in NFL DFS, and I'm going to tell you why, bro. Okay, motherfuckers stream this shit anytime. Drew Brees at home is a thing. Remember that going into the NFL season. Drew Brees at the crib is a thing. Also remember offense streaming against the Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns played the Pittsburgh Steelers the first game of the season. Everybody is going to be streaming the fuck out of the Steelers. And I'm glad they all high price. I'm glad fucking quarterbacks just 7K plus Roethlisberger. I'm glad you got to pay 9K for Lev Bell. You got to pay 8.8 or some shit for the homie Antonio Brown. Even the tight end is at 3K. Even Jesse James is at 3K. So and everybody's gonna want to stream the defense against the Cleveland Browns. That's just what you do. That's just what you do. It's part of NFL DFS. So let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna be talking about plays in this spot, and we are going to, of course. Oh, is this game not on the slate? The Saints and the Browns, baby, where you at? Oh, there we go. Bam. All right, so you're not going to see Drew Brees. You're going to see a lot of Chase Daniel. Ryan Nassib is the worst quarterback in the history of quarterbacking. He played for my Giants. I know better. Do not do that. You may see a lot of Brock Osweiler in this spot. And if you do, I think you can be in a really good spot. I like Brock Osweiler here. I even think Cody Kessler is in play also. Those would be the two guys that I look at. Now you got Deshaun Kaiser, the rookie QB that they want to come in and bring in and show what he's got. But I think this is Osweiler's job. I think it's his job, but he's not so great that he can't go through any competition in the preseason. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for guys that are good, and are probably going to win the job. But there's a chance that the guy behind them is nipping at their heels, so it turns into sort of a battle, a positional battle between those two players. That's what you're looking for in preseason, because that's how you're going to get the most reps from players as you roster them. So looking at the running backs in this spot, AP for New Orleans, you're not going to see any AP. You're really not. Tavares Cadet, very minimal. Mark Ingram, not a lot. You're not going to see a ton of Crowell. You're not going to see. You might see some Brandon Wiles here, and you might see some Duke Johnson. This is a spot where Duke Johnson can come in, show that he is like super quick. Nobody can catch him. He jumps in and gets behind the defense, scores a touchdown, sits down. That's a guy that I am going to be taking a look at most assuredly. I'm going to like him. Not too much else from this spot. Man, you look at the tight ends here. Don't really love anybody. Yeah, I really don't love anybody. Really don't. Really don't. Next game we got is going to be the Broncos and the Chicago Bears. Yo, Denver Broncos Bears, man. This could be solid. I want to take a look at this one. Um, we've got, of course, the starting for the Chicago Bears, man. Tough, tough. They look bad, bro. They look bad, bro. And the beautiful thing about this is, if they're starting Mark Glennon, you might see a ton of run from Trubisky. You might see some run from Glennon. You might see some run from Sanchez. Like, he can come from anywhere in this spot. And Trevor Siemian, on the other side, he is a guy that doesn't have it sold up either. You look at Paxton Lynch. Both of those guys they're fighting for jobs. Like, these are spots where you can play these quarterbacks, and one is gonna play the other half, one half, the other one's gonna play the other. So this is where you get your quarterbacks from. Games like this. It just so happens that they're not very good, and they wish they were better. But these are spots where you're gonna see a ton of reps for quarterbacks. Looking at as far as running backs go, you got Jamal Charles in Denver. He's questionable. You're not gonna see a ton of him. Stephen Riley is a guy that you might see some of. I've got no issue there. Michael Burton, also for Chicago, is a guy that you might see with Jeremy Langford not being in. And Kadeem Carey is another guy from Chicago, the running back. I'm going to kind of like him some too. Uh, Now, they do have the starting running back is Jordan Howard in Chicago. You're probably not going to see him get a lot of run. That's why I like Kadeem Carey in the spot. As far as the wide receiver goes, look at old Victor Cruz in Chicago. I have no interest in playing Victor Cruz here in this spot. Even though he is going to want to try to prove himself and show that he can still play and make the team, but I don't love him here. You got Kendall Wright in Chicago, not going to probably get a ton of minutes. Ruben Randall, no. Benny Fowler, Josh Bellamy is a guy that I think you may be able to use. Cam Meredith is probably going to be one of the starters here, so I wouldn't play him too much. Cody Latimer at 5.5. Well, they all 5.5. Cody Latimer is a guy that I do have interest in here, as well as Kevin White. I like Kevin White. I think that they're going to want to get Kevin White the ball, get him going. He coming off of a season-ending injury like he had last year. I think they want to get him involved as early as they can inside of some form of contact, offensive play. So I've got no issue there with him. As far as tight ends go, AJ Derby, though, I like AJ Derby. That's my dude. He was really decent last year. Virgil Green, nah, probably not gonna get a lot of run. Deion Sims, yes, he could. Also, that's it. That's it there for me. That's it there for me. So and as you're building lines, man, I want to take you through and kind of show you, right? This is what I would do. This is not what I would do, but I'm gonna build like a stack line for you. Okay, so let's go. So we're gonna go through it. At quarterback, the guy that I like the most of everyone at the quarterback spot is going to be Brock Osweiler. Now I'm gonna want to pair Osweiler with a wide receiver. I think he's gonna play, you know, enough enough in the early part uh, for us to kind of to be good. Okay. Uh, where's my homie? He got hurt. He got hurt last year. Corey Coleman. Yes. Give me Corey Coleman. I'm gonna also rock a running back here, Duke Johnson. That's what I'm rocking. I'm good there. Then I'm gonna go over to Buffalo because I do believe that I can trust when the coach says that they're gonna get a lot of run for the Cats in Buffalo. I kind of believe that. Okay, I'm gonna be looking for a running back in Buffalo, and it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna roll um in this Buffalo game. I'm not gonna roll. What's a running back I like? No, I can't play Shady here. They're not gonna play Shady. They're not. No, they're not gonna play Shady. They're not. I think Sammy Watkins does play though. I think Sammy Watkins plays. I trust that. I like Sammy Watkins to play. And of course, I want to get a wide receiver to oppose. Who's that? We got him. And it's good to play two running backs from the same team. And I think I'm gonna do that with the Vikings. I think I'm gonna go in and uh I'm gonna play Jarrett McKinnon, and I'm gonna play the other homie, the young cat, Dalvin Cook. I'm gonna play both of those cats, McKinnon, Cook. Okay. And since I've got that, my defense is gonna be the Vikings because I want to get some defense from them. I think they're gonna have the ball for quite some time. Then I've got two more positions to fill. I'm going tight end. Um, mm, mm. Dwayne Allen was a guy that I said I liked. Yeah, I'm gonna play the young guy from Carolina at tight end. Where the homie at? Yep, Manners. I'm gonna play the young guy at tight end and put that last wide receiver spot. Uh, Add somebody in there, run it. That's how I'm rocking. So, just wanted to give you a quick little synopsis on what I think about NFL preseason week 1. Give you a little bit of lineup construction tips and tricks, and let you look at that. So this has been, of course, your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Thanking you so much for supporting the show, supporting the channel. Yo, if you want to get in to the sweatshop where we really do like advanced shit, like this is the basics. If you really want to get in there, go to the website www.dfssweatshop.com. Thank you so much. If you're on DraftKings, keep it 250. If you're on FanDuel, keep it 300. You rock with the homies, so you keep it on 300 with me. Peace. Let's hold it down. We out.